Na MPP for police for Umbeto Aba 2nd December. Yes, special voting. Your police for Omo recruitment. Just Omo depot. Omo Babe police. I just say recruit for Omo Nenam and Omo Kachom says NDC by Ebe Yomedi. The person me ma Omo Areshe Musa Nyanokre. Yente say Omo ba yeno ni aye recruitment. Military ni police. Ombe pa mo nyina. Enti na Omo adwen ye Omo say ye te say Omo. Enti ye ba yeso ye be sa. Enti me ma Omo nyina Areshe Musa. Omo ayafa Omo no. Omo go through recruitment. Ye ba ye mpa Omo. Ombe to aso. Yeso ye be fa ye nipa. Na yeso ya ma Omo.
General, where you run John Domani Mahama, where your campaign? And what other man for us will recruit me a form or bar, one pamomo. So by inference, and so recruit me, and answer will be a friend more baby. If for me, I Ghana for. And I your mama so Baba here reset, yes, sir. It is for Baba here reset, dear. Nanki Abeka says, Sabi Newman and Funubia yadin over the years. Some know Casa Okonenti a year 70 and 1970. Wizzy Abayano. Ye Freddy be Apollo 568. A dear Apollo 568. Ninchile Moana say, Wizzy Abayan was the NDC for no ne and Kroma Bino. And Kroma by me and Kroma is no more yanomsi. And Kroma by any Dinkofash advantage positions, baby. It's Sabay number buying to the idea of the government in ye nipa 500 and yes 68 every more Apollo 568 you are free more and my very popular case of Salah versus Attorney General Satan Victor Usu yana na ya Attorney General adadina na edikan ya Attorney General and sana Victor Usu babe take the case over. It will be a law school behind the case of Salah versus Attorney General where there was a ruling as to whether you can say establish the word establisher. What does it even mean? Area Chileno, Salah, a reinstating my more popular phrase be almost say, Buzia can say no court, no court. So I word no court to know what you know. Nina actually say, will be ban or be woman more pamuncrophobia. And a judge Rollins year 79 coup. Why, yes, 79 when you could fear uno. And almost oh, touch a brewery, oh, scat. Yes, watch my trace was scat. Your friend is a Yipoko transport more. Now, almost Cadia. And you're not just Ashanti for no share the banking sector, the top echelons of the banking sector. No, Woman and Mama Busia Montimineska. And Jaja Rollins in Kofia Uno Mama Kenyana. A Pamu Winada. Banking Penifoni Yanada. One Pamu Winada. It's not where you do me, I do you. Exactly. Yeah, dear by ya besise. And you could fall so by and yes, and you Jaja Rollins in Crawford, and you could fall so by Pamubi. Professor Mills by one on again children to a year, Ubakaya, or my even MMC this years of Kufo, 6 months. Precisely. And some who you were more. John Mahama near to me free Professor Mills and some. Even Professor Mills, I want any book memokran. When Yan to Pamu woman another. I don't need to go for Koshe. A who for the buy will be here the same. And yen I say. And you do, baby. One answer the recipe back. It can reset it. Me who ye come up and come on pie, the top economists. Say you will be a CEO, will be a managing director, will be a destiny Pamumo. Nemo Kolankolana ya Mufo Mugumudia. Mwana Munimiti and Pamuamo. The first time in the Fourth Republic, Abaya also Obabaya reset. Wabania Fankrofo. No say by a year you can say proper governance structure and it good in the spirit of good governance. As to what good governance means, I don't know. Because Constitution here very clear where the mandate of the president ends. The Constitution is very clear, unambiguous when it comes to the mandate of the president. Was it the president mandate shall end on the 7th of January? You swear another president in. So you're 7 December. The Constitution at no point says that because you're to a baby, I will now lose you. You cannot make recruitment or governance should come to a halt. Exactly. So you know. And we are rule of law, a nation of laws. Constitution in Bokaye. I feel about John Dramani Mahama. Fameko Nyanko Domelevo letter, a young former boss, Julius Debra, a Troy. I want to say John Dramani Mahama a scam. He's scamming the people. That. Me dem be you. Now what the fan fully be. Now be na akola bia ko gina ne nchen. now akolana aje ni phone na say Jomama e man the number now obetimi aben president without national security clearance it's optics ya basi a chance Mahama do e humble ana akolana we national security ni why omo de madwene dia agro information o de information because Jomama e Akufo Addo ye but beyond the facade what is Jomama doing some so baba reset whereas wo John Dramani Mahama yetu abawie ye wo lose ye 2016 ana wo appointed Domelevo December after 2016 22nd or so ana wo appointed Domelevo precisely so 22nd or so now appointed NCC ne wo maka empedifo afa nkrofo gumo na yetu abawie na lose an ye appointed obi a aka ma Domelevo wo appointed Domelevo e ma ne baba ye auditor general bisano afi wo ba no kura de nya sorofo na wo pamo mo and Kolana won a was yes over 24-hour economy. No more be a miafa. It is all by an Akufo Addo Fabia Gumudia. The only thing you can do is that Ube be a economy corona wokanum 24-hour Ube be Sabaya Uncola and Subabia Yasa. Now 24-hour economy. Where I 19th of December 2016. Appointment of Auditor General Domelevo signed by my former boss Julius Debra. 19 December 2016 year to Obama Jomama Lusu. It is a Jomama in spirit of good governance. When him see a to Obama so Lusua, yam appoint you be a year then year to Obama annual Lusu on the 19th of December. Wo Jomama who appointed Domelevo and other people. Precisely. So when you no crefo, but maybe who through you, the people can see it. Never. Almost me mwa doma wonya no krefo wo Mama wonya no krefo ampa wonya no krefo wakika na nim manya msonko anso mo dendi woni bi general kakra kro ni mo de na nim mo no me so wura John Dramani Mahama wonya no krefo na mo behunu na ache me de me ka kire mo wono na say in spirit of good governance so obi lose election ya say ni pa no we are appointed. But 19th of December 2016, no one lose election and no appointed Domelevo. And no buy several thousands of a year Ghanaian youth or more year Juma. Jomama said Akufo Addo na appointed woman after so lusu. It will more conquer Tenefi. Ye Busasa Sankola no free Azerbaijan and no free Kosovo and no free Burkina Faso. Omudo mi adwuma echi koto de ne bodwe nyenya nkyere nkola nkofo akuma it reset now wo ba be ye if this is how you are going to do it it means the vindictive nature of a yes how my we entwa because what china say abai sisa MPP said you show to ye o man so me obi what you say Jomama we appointed nipa bebre after see to aba
Julius Pepena was the COO of MIDA, the chief executive of MIDA. He was the CEO of MIDA. MIDA is the Millennium Development Corporation. They were part of PDS. There's an American angle looking at privatizing things so that it can work efficiently. All the things that we the capitalists talk about, which is in essence might not be good for a country like Ghana, but he's very well versed in these things. Now, this is how the rat was smelt. He was COO of MIDA at the time when this conversation was happening. When Akufo Addo became president, he wasn't CEO of MIDA anymore. Now, he's been appointed as a chief executive of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG. As soon as Mr. Julius Pepena was appointed, everybody said, wait a minute. We don't want PDS anymore. Why are they bringing Julius Pepena to ECG? Yes, a very intelligent man, but they don't want him at ECG because once he comes to ECG, privatization is going to happen. Now, let's move on with the conversation. Okay, so here's ECG MD. President John Dramani Mahama is the president and John Jinapo is the minister. Now, as soon as Mr. Mahama became president, he started complaining about power and generation and all of that. So the ECG privatization seems to be a clear agenda. Today, the Workers' Union of the ECG, the Power Union Workers Association, they are called PUWU. They went to meet with Mr. Jinapo and told him that they don't want ECG privatization. And then some of us got wind of what happened in the meeting and everything. But we also know the full story. Let's get you the full story over here. How does power get distributed in Ghana? That's very simple. So this is the way in which power gets distributed in Ghana. So up here is the fuel supply. You can also call it the gas supply. So anybody who supplies fuel is up here. If for some reason the government of Ghana is buying fuel from you, your Allied Oil or your Fraga Oil or your Shell, you all come to fuel supply. So from fuel supply, it goes over to the generators. That is, the fuel goes into the generators. So I saw Glee Power Plant, Senate Power, Sen Power, Aska. Is it Aska? Yes, ASK. Yes, all of them. They are generators, okay? So then they come to the transmitter, which is Gridco. So Gridco will then transmit, mind you, this part, this transmitter and the distribution all used to be ECG. All that used to be ECG, okay? So the generators are all of them, including VRA. VRA sits here because they also have Tico in Takrade is VRA, and some of the generators are under VRA. And then Hydro, which doesn't use fuel but it also generates, is also under VRA. Okay, so that comes to transmission. Gridco is a transmitting platform that is done, and then it goes to the distribution, and the distribution is by ECG. Comes to your house, comes to my house, goes to your former secondary school at Disadel, goes to my former secondary school Prese, goes to your grandmother in Atebubu, goes to my grandmother in Yamuase, and all of that. So this is how it works. All right. What is the government intending to do? Let's move on. So government wants to hand over billing, payment and collection to a private company. But why should we do that? I mean, why in God's name should we hand over the electricity company of Ghana's payment, collection and billing to a private company that is coming in from somewhere? It's not Ghanaian. No Ghanaian businessman is going to benefit. Just come and take over ECG, and they will go and bill. They will collect the money from us, and they will make the payment. That's it. That's all they are going to do. They're going to bring in meters and all of that. So the issue against the privatization is the government must explain what is wrong with ECG now. What is the privatization going to cure? From what the PUWU are saying, the privatization is going to cure nothing. It's just going to make the lives of Ghanaians worse. For a government that has run on the back of social contract, a left-wing government comes into government and privatizes ECG. Please tell Ambassador Kwesi Pratt and the Socialist Forum that I'm going to hound them until I hear their view about this ECG privatization. Because if this was happening in MPP era, Kwesi Pratt would be on Good Morning Ghana and said that we will never allow the privatization of ECG. He would have said it. Today, his daughter is in the office of the vice president. Government wants to privatize ECG. Kwesi Pratt says he hasn't heard it. Kwesi Pratt has not heard that the government of the NDC wants to privatize ECG. I have been following Kwesi Pratt for 25 years. He's a socialist. He's against privatization. And I'm telling you that if this was MPP, you come on Good Morning Ghana, he can even come on Good Evening Ghana. We will not allow the privatization of the ECG by the government. The workers of this country are going to rise up against it. That's what Kwesi Pratt would have said. Today, we have not heard him. We have not heard anything from Kwesi Pratt. Electricity Company of Ghana is being privatized. Socialist Forum says they haven't heard it. We have heard it, and we are going to say what we have to say. All right. So, but didn't ECG try to resolve revenue losses with a loss reduction project in 2022, 23, and 24? All right. This is the catch on this one. So ECG was getting losses, and then they decided that they were going to have a loss reduction project. There's a young man there who was doing very well. Incidentally, his name is Mahama. The guy who was at ECG, his surname is Mahama. I've forgotten his first name. But in during his time, they did this. Okay, what did this achieve? From the records that we have seen, this was a policy to decide that meters, is a big part of the ECG conversation. So they wanted the meters to be manufactured in Ghana so that it cuts off a lot of the cost. So they brought a policy where if you want to do meters for ECG, you have to have a company domiciled in Ghana, and then you manufacture it from Ghana. And then when you manufacture it, ECG gives you an area, say Teshite Bibiano, where I live. So you go to Teshite Bibiano, and then you go and install your meters. When the ECG recognizes within a number of days, month, that Teshite Bibiano revenue has increased, then they now believe that the meters that you supplied is the reason for the increase in revenue. It is then that they begin to pay you. Now, this process, do we have the figures? Yes, this process led to an increase in revenue of about 1 billion, showing a jump from 500 million per month, one single month, to 1.5 billion in revenue for ECG. Viewers, look at this. This is correct. This is happening. that the revenue losses about getting meters to occur here, getting meters to be manufactured here, gave a revenue jump from 500 million to 1.5 billion, almost a 1 billion jump. The PURC says that this could be better. PURC says that based on this arrangement that ECG brought up, they should have been picking up 2 billion instead of 1.5 billion. They found out, however, that the shortfall is as a result of government agencies that don't remit ECG the way they have to. So ministries don't pay, some university, secondary school, etc., etc. In any case, this brought 1.5 billion. So this looked like a policy that they should continue. Now, there's something interesting going on here that you have to see. There's something very interesting going on here that is also bringing the smelling of the rat. This document I have here shows that the demand-supply balance and fuel requirements to mitigate deficits. So it's about fuel requirements. How much fuel do we need? In December 2024, the NPP government's handing over notes said that generally in total, all over the country, we are consuming at peak time 3,953 megawatts of power. That's what we are consuming in December, as according to the document. We have been told by the Minister for Energy that our consumption is something in the region of 4,400. The question that we might use an RTI to ask the Minister for Energy is that what happened? Why is the 3,953 megawatts wrong, as was projected by Akufo-Addo's government in their handing over notes? How did we jump from 3,953 to 4,400? Now, viewers, do you know why that is important? That's important because the minister is telling us that he's going to take our taxpayers' money to import fuel so that we don't have doomso. And he's importing fuel, according to the Honorable Jinapo, he's importing fuel for 4,400. But the cost, the megawatts that we have is 3,953. So why is he importing fuel for 400 megawatts more? That's a conversation we need to ask him. Do you know what the industry experts are telling us? The industry experts are telling us that is something that is as they say, is, I don't know what word to use. But you're supposed to import fuel for 3,953. If the government imports fuel for 4,400, there's some fuel there that the 3,900 doesn't need. What's going to happen to that fuel which has been bought by taxpayers' money? Now, that's a lot of fuel. It's not like my Hyundai car or your Toyota car. No. It's proper fuel, plenty. They are talking about megawatts for electricity generation. So 400 megawatts of fuel needed for 400 can fill your tank, my tank, for 10 years. So it's a lot of fuel. Your taxpayers' money is going to buy it. The minister comes and says, we are going to buy for 4,400. And journalists are not asking that, wait a minute. NPP said 3,953. When did we move from December to January that we are now consuming more? The Honorable Minister Jinapo said so. He has to come and say how he came by the 4,400. All right, so this is just to show you that we are getting concerned about something. Now, we are suspecting that the PDS arrangement is going to come back. That's the same arrangement. It's going to come back. And we are worried about it because this PDS thing is very dangerous. And the NDC campaigned that the MPP should have kept the PDS. I don't know whether people remember when they call it PDS scandal. The PDS scandal was that government said we cannot go on this PDS thing. These people are bringing some insurance that is questionable. I don't want to say much about that because it's before an arbitration panel. The PDS have sued and the ECG are with them in an arbitration panel. The government of Akufo-Addo strenuously argued that the insurance something, I don't want to say it because it's before an arbitration, that insurance something should be looked at. I'm just using mild words. And so that's before arbitration. Now we get the sense that this whole arrangement is just a way that NDC is back to power, so PDS back. What is PDS? Get some friends of the big politicians, bring them in. They have formed a company called PDS. The company doesn't have a leg in Sudan and doesn't have an arm anywhere, but they form it anyway. They come, ECG signs a contract with them. They take over everything ECG, and they say they are doing billing, collection, and repayments. They will be given a sum of money. And then they are gone away. They share with the politicians. And that's what they call corruption. Corruption in high places. Corruption without tears. Corruption with tears. That's what it is. There's nothing more, nothing less. This is what it is. What is standing at ECG that as soon as a government arrives, the first pronouncements they are making, we are going to sell ECG. Where is the crisis?